everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Enjoy the Bounty of Planning with Tonisha Taylor. So listen, something went awry with my camera and recording equipment, and so I thought I was recording the Plan With Me video where I laid all of this prettiness out, but I guess it wasn't. So what you're gonna get now is just really more of a walkthrough of kind of a little bit of a kind of before the pen sort of thing. So this is what we're gonna do. So this is my bullet journal for the last week in February. So what I've decided to do for my bullet journal layouts is when I go into my new planner, my new bullet journal, which I've already gotten, it's over here, it's totally empty. There'll be another video where I lay this out and transfer over the front matter of the bullet journal. So the things that go from one bullet journal to the next is I do some kind of title page, which I'll do again. I do the future log, of course. I do the 5-year plan. I do the research pipeline. And then I do the writing projects layout. This page is not, this spread's not going because I didn't use it. The books to read spread is going, and then the memory spread always comes over, and then I start with the monthlies. So in this one, I have the monthly layout and then the weekly and then notes, which are basically like daily pages, and then weeks, dailies, so on, right? So in the summertime, because I'm just working on my research, I'm not teaching and I'm not doing service, this works out really well for me as an option, but during the school year, it doesn't, especially in this new position that I'm in. So what I've noticed is that sometimes I have dailies, right? And then I end up sometimes with blank pages, and then I have weeklies. And then like this is an example from, this is like during the holidays, during the end of December. And so I have my weekly and then daily and then a blank and then a weekly and then a weekly and then a weekly because it's December. And in January, then I had my monthly layout, which for the month of January, I loved this layout. I did it in December. Actually, I think the first time I did this layout was actually in October. And I'm not gonna, there, hold on. Because actually now I'm kind of like, is that when I did it for the first time? And I'm almost positive it is. It's either in October, which of course I'm not gonna be able to find it. So it's either in the month of October. Wait, did I not do a monthly layout for the month of October? Oh no, there it is. Okay, so, oh no, it must have been in November. It must have been in November. And it was an inspiration from, yeah, it was in November, from somebody in the YouTube planner community. That's gonna bother me who I got this inspiration from, but I loved it. That person did like a coffee theme as well, but they are somebody who draws and is a graphic designer, and I'm not. And so I use stickers for mine, but I love that style, so I kept it for the rest of the months that I've done. And the thing that I've realized is for the way that I need things to work now, I need to go ahead and have my month and then the 4 weekly layouts, and then just have pages to be able to do like research meeting notes, reading notes, paper, essay, project planning, stuff like that. But all of that needs to happen after the weeks because I need to have the weeks so I can do the planning that I need to do. And I need to have them all laid out. So for the month of February, so this was the layout for the month of February. Went ahead and did weeklies and left the big note space to be able to take notes. And then this is the last one for the last week in February. And then I'll have these last blank pages at the end of the planner to be able to take my notes for any like research notes, conference notes, whatever, for the month of February. I'll be able to finish it out. So we're actually in the month of February right now, and so you can kind of see how this ended up getting laid out. I stuck with my theme of doing the month at the top. Sometimes I put the year, you can see here I didn't on this week or this week. I just put the month, which I actually find really helpful. And then I use the Capital Chic stickers. The monthly layouts, the monthly kits come with more day of the week stickers in them. So I used these for the day of the week. I used the Happy Planner sticker book for these dates here. And then this sticker book for these label stickers is what those are. And then I love this little quote, throw kindness around like confetti, and this think happy sticker. And those both came from, I think they came from this one, from the Color Story 4 sticker book. And then the Get It Done and the Don't Forget and this little like kind of sticker that's underneath here came from the Wrong Happy Planner. So these are the sticker books, and I use the little corners from the Capital Chic. So this planner layout is all the Happy Planner stickers, so the Wrong stickers, the Color Story, and the Memory Keeping, and then also these Capital Chic stickers as well was what this layout came from. This layout is also actually the same. It's all of the same ones. So it's these and then these for this spread. And then this spread, same thing. It's the same collection of stickers for these spreads. So what I've decided is in these videos, one of the things I really want to do is also kind of walk you guys through what my research planning looks like, because that's really what the bullet journal, my bullet journal, that's what I use it for. I use it to keep track of like the personal things, but I also use it primarily to keep track of the research projects and what it takes to write a project for me. And like all of the pieces, and I kind of journal that through as well, which is super helpful for me. So this is what I figured out in the last couple of months in being in a new planner, not in a new planner, in a new job. And what I figured out is I've been trying to hang on to my Fridays, hanging on to those Fridays as research days. And some Fridays it's been successful, some Fridays it hasn't. Work things have definitely, matter of fact, every Friday in January and every Friday, let me look actually, because I feel like this is true. Yep, every Friday in January, I wrote that it was research day, but you can see training happened. My housekeepers actually come every other Friday. That's not a distraction to me at all. In fact, while they're here, I'm usually putting my task list together, or I'm doing something to prep for being able to start writing as soon as they leave. And as soon as they leave, man, it's crazy, the writing that flows right out. It's awesome. Love those ladies. But every Friday is, you can see on this in February, I didn't even bother to write that Friday was research day on the monthly planner, because I think I kind of accepted that it wasn't gonna work out the way I wanted it to. And I don't know, so this is what I realized. I realized that this monthly layout is like my favorite monthly layout of any monthly layout I've ever done. And this is the Capital Chic Designs stickers mostly. And then the rest of these stickers are Happy Planner stickers. And so I love this layout. I loved having the weeklies and then just room to write and to take care of doing tasks in the spaces, right? And having that space. So already where we are in the month of February, you can see that I've taken advantage of writing a lot of stuff in those stickers or in those boxes, and it's been really, really helpful for me. In the weekly layout, I just write in my meeting times and my class times. And so for the end of the month, I am gonna go ahead and just write in my class time. But what I want to start doing differently, and this is why I love bullet journaling, because you can start doing something different if you realize that things aren't working for you. So let's go ahead and just write in office hours. All right. So one of the things that I realized that isn't working for me is, even though I'm trying to hold on to my Friday as my research day, which some weeks I'm super successful, some weeks I'm not, a lot of time ends up getting wasted on Friday because I have to plan out what I'm actually gonna do. And then I'm not really clearly writing that down, and I'm not accomplishing the goals the way that I want to. Also, I'm so busy through the week and haven't really gotten together a good plan during the week of the little bits that I'm gonna do for the research project, so that Friday I'm actually doing the prep things, and then I'm not getting to the big thing. So I can't mark off a whole task, because I found that I'm not even able to mark off one whole research task because I didn't do the prep work. So I had to do all the prep work before I could even get to the task, right? So if I'm trying to write a section a week of a paper, I actually usually do a lot of prep work through the week to get that taken care of on Friday. And so what has been really helpful is realizing that what I need to do is do my monthly layout. I need to kind of prep out what are the big events that are going to happen in the month, and then start to figure out when can I do the research projects, right? Because you'll notice in February, and if we go back to January is the same way. There's a lot of blank, but if you go back and look through even earlier in the summer, which actually the summer is it's a good example because I do a lot of research writing in the summer, right? I at least have written out what my big research goals were, what my ideal plan was for the week, and then I break down my projects through the week. So need to borrow back from that and really kind of lay out the pieces. So I know I have an essay with a co-author that I'm working on that's due in March, which I haven't even started my piece, and so he's gonna kill me, which is why I already wrote in edits, right? So I tell my students, because I do this, I work backwards from when something is supposed to be done. So I know that's actually due in early March, and because March isn't gonna go in here and it's not laid out, it's on my electronic calendar, I know in order to finish that on time, we've got to be in the edits of drafts in the last week in February, which means if I'm going to work on that during this week, which I am not 100% sure how that's going to happen, although actually yes I am, I actually know how it's gonna happen. So this is what I know I need to do. I teach on Monday nights, so I never do any kind of research writing in the course of the day on Monday nights. But on Wednesday, I know I can go ahead and write in that this is going to be the data analysis. I'm just gonna put GW paper because I honestly can't remember what that paper's called. And then on Thursday, I'm also going to work on data analysis. And I'm gonna work on the data analysis section. So this is a paper we're using a Twitter data set that I collected a while back. So there's no data collection. The data collection part has already been done. And actually the data analysis has already been done. So that's why I'm writing data analysis section. So the analysis has already been done. The collection has been done. The analysis and coding has already been done. All that needs to happen now is I need to write it up. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in, and I'm going to take at least an hour of each of these 2 days in order to do that. And that's my section. My other parts have actually already been done. My other section is the methods section. I already wrote it, but this section is a section that's still not, I haven't written it. And so I need to have time and make sure I write that in so that it gets done. And then I know that because I am going to a conference during this time, that I'm going to need to go ahead and write in some more conference details. I already have a little bit of my calendar written in for the conference, and so that's gonna happen. And then here I'll actually return, and then right now my students actually are planned to have a research day on the 24th. And I might go ahead and leave that as a research day for them because they have a huge project that's due, and it'll be really helpful for them if they go ahead and just stay on track to work on that during that day. Now what I do is, because I teach graduate and undergraduate students in my new position, although this semester I'm only teaching graduate students, I'm actually writing with my graduate students. So my graduate students actually have a lit review that's due here, which I am actually going to go ahead and write in because it's due. I'm gonna go ahead and write in CM. Actually, it's not the lit review, it's the topic memo is due. So it's 534. All right, so their topic memo is due. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in, that's due. And then what I'm gonna do is just put myself down here as a task, CM534, grading. So I make sure and grade their topic memos so that they get their grades back in time to take advantage of this research day that they're gonna have on the 24th. So that is that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the month. So while they're working on their research, oh, that's right, I already wrote it in. I'm gonna work on the drafts and edits for my co-authored paper. And like I said, I normally don't write in research tasks on Mondays because I teach Monday nights and I do my research writing. I split my research writing. I do part of it in the morning and then I do part of it in the evening when I come home from work. And so, but I usually don't do Mondays because I'm exhausted and I never get anything done. And I just realized I usually do every other day, but I'm not gonna be able to do that because, again, this paper is due the following week after this. So it needs to, I'm gonna have to work on it every day in order to get it done. So what I used to do is I used to explicitly write in the amount of time. And I think that was something that actually always really worked for me in terms of holding myself accountable. And so I really am going to go ahead because I think that I know it makes a difference for me. So I'm actually gonna write it up here. And so I know that really what works for me is 30 to 45 minutes. reading, writing, and this is going to be for teaching days. And then on non-teaching days is really more of a 90 minutes to 120 minutes reading, writing time. On non-teaching days. Oops. If only I could spell. So I'm gonna go ahead and write. I'm writing this note to myself across the top to remind myself that that's my new goal, is to get back on track with that timing. And so I'm going to actually, on this week, I'm going to write it down here. And what I want to do is, I think I want to write it down here on, I want to write it on like a little sticker. I'm gonna go ahead in this little note to self spot. Let's go ahead and use this sticker as like a little reminder. We're gonna go 30, what did we say? 30 to 45 minutes. To read or write. And then we know that we want to do 90 to 120 to read, write. And so this is teaching days, and this is non-teaching. Okay, and that's just as a little reminder to just keep me focused as I head into the new week and thinking about how I want to be able to function. And then keeping this up here again as a little reminder. And so the thing that I want to add down here is, and I think I want to do it this way, and just letter it out and say, did you write today? And so that is just going to be a little reminder to keep myself on track as I finish out the end of February, because let me tell you, I am looking at my research pipeline, and like there are projects on this pipeline. There are projects that I have going on that aren't on the pipeline, so that's another thing that needs to happen. Like, for example, that project that's actually due in March isn't even on this pipeline. So like I need to really focus and get projects done, but also get projects back on the pipeline. One of the things that I also am preparing to move to my new bullet journal is looking through the projects that are on the pipeline that are stalled out in the great idea draft proposal space, figuring out where those, if those journal or if those articles or books or projects or whatever, are they even going to move forward right now? And some of them in 2020 aren't going to move forward into 2020. I just don't have the time to work on them right now. And then some of them, they might never happen, but they're definitely not happening in the first 6 months of 2020. And so they're not going to come with me into the new bullet journal. But the ones that are done and are in the, they're kind of in the impress spot, or they're under review, but they're not published, those obviously are going to go with me. They're going to go at the top of the pipeline in the new book because they're actually already way down the line, and I'm just waiting for them to get published. And so so there are those 2 projects that are happening that are actually going to be published at the end of 2020, and so they just need to, that's just where they are. This one is the same way. This one's actually going to get published by the end of the end of March, actually, probably, if not before. And so it just needs to be colored in and updated correctly. So that's what's happening there. I think this new method of doing the bullet journal layout is going to help keep me on track for research and help me really be able to get the research planned and done the way that I want it to be. Now, what I do want to do is go ahead and take a moment. And I think I want to use this light lavender. I'm just going to go ahead and give myself a little highlight that I'm just going to write in. And I'm just going to write in the word research day, or the phrase research day, in order to really make sure that I am tracking and keeping focused. Actually, I'm just gonna write research because that's what fits. And then what I'm going to do is, I am going to go ahead and write just on the bottom of each day, I'm gonna highlight that this is gonna be when the research prep is gonna happen. And so what I'm gonna write in is, what has typically been happening is Mondays are actually, which I actually am going to go ahead and do because this is the way that it's been typically working the last several months, is in the morning on Monday are my reading days. That's when I do all of my reading. And actually I'm going to go ahead and highlight in the morning on Wednesdays too. So the reason why all of my reading happens on Mondays and Wednesdays is because that's actually usually the day when I also work out. And so while I'm working out, I'm usually reading while I'm on the treadmill. And then my writing days are Tuesday and Thursday. And then if I'm really on my schedule, then I'm reading, writing. I actually do a little bit of writing on Wednesday nights. And then ideally what happens, and this truly is my ideal, then when I get to Friday, that's when I'm doing all of my edits. That's when I'm pulling together all of the parts of the section or the essay or whatever it is. And that's when I'm doing like that rewrite, right? So ideally, I don't want to be writing for the first time. I don't want to write my first draft, first ideas on Friday. I want to do, because that's when I've got my most hours to be able to work. I want to have all of the pieces and I want to put the pieces together on Friday. I don't want to be building it on Friday, right? Or I don't want to be creating the pieces on Friday. I want to build the essay on Friday. So that is the goal. So let's go ahead and map this out. So reading and then writing. And then writing. Oops. And writing. Okay. So this is what we want to see for the end of the month. So let's go ahead and then now I want to go ahead, do the same thing. Oops. Give myself that highlight because again, I am a visual person. So it helps me to see things the same way in other places. So let's say that this is reading. This is reading. And again, ideally, this is happening while I'm on the treadmill. The last several weeks, it actually hasn't been happening because I haven't been working out. And so, which is one of those things, I didn't even realize that that's what was happening until, like, I didn't realize that that the parts weren't happening throughout the week the way they're supposed to, because I didn't realize that part of the part is that I work out while I read. So if I'm not working out, then I'm not reading. And if I'm not reading at the beginning of the week, this is the craziest thing. I'm just realizing this now as I'm saying this. If I don't read at the beginning of the week, I don't write throughout the week because I didn't read what I needed to do in order to do the writing that I needed to do. It's crazy how those things go together for a researcher. All right. I love the way that that is already looking. So let's go ahead and, whoops, do our highlights here so that this happens the way it needs to for the rest of the week. And let's go ahead and we're going to go in and write this in the lighter color again so that it really just stands out. Now, I will say, when I say reading, that might be an essay that I want to read so that I can cite. It might also be just rereading what I wrote. I find that I just reading what I write when I'm not sitting in front of the computer, but when I'm standing on the treadmill, I'm working out and I read out loud. And that's when I find a lot of like sentence structure errors and grammar problems or things that I'm like, wait, that's not what I really mean, you know? And then I usually, when I'm reading on the treadmill, I just have a highlighter. I don't have a pen. And so, because I can't really write and be on the treadmill at the same time, but I can highlight. And so I'll highlight things that I need to go back and change later on. All right, so this is our layout and our pre-planning kind of early sketch of what the last couple of weeks are going to look like for the month of February. We already have written in And we're gonna use sort of this dark purple color for writing in the rest of the things during that week, I already know. And then any highlighting is gonna happen in this light purple color. I can already feel that's what's gonna happen for the rest of the week. This is probably the color I'm gonna use to highlight all of my writing that I'm gonna be doing for the last bit of February. This is probably gonna be the color. And then this is the color I'm using in my planner, in my academic planner, which is over here. So this is the pen color that's actually in this planner right now. And so this is actually the color that's happening in this planner. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick this here so that that's what happens for the rest of the week, because that's already what's happening here and already what's happening here. So want to go ahead and keep that. And then the month will end, like I said, with this purple color. And actually there's no point in doing that now, but in my new one, I purchased these pen loops from Amazon. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to add a pen loop to the inside cover of this one so that I can put a highlighter in here, because I can already tell what I already know what I want to do and how I want to function in this planner going forward for my bullet journal for the rest of the year. So that is that. That's the layout. Those are the research plans and goals as we go forward for the end of the month. How I want to set up the plan going forward for the rest of the academic year so that I can get through my research goals, because I know I recorded it, but I haven't edited it, so you guys haven't seen it. Hopefully you will before this video goes up. Might be just a great big brain dump of videos basically, because I have a bunch that are recorded and not edited and not loaded. But I am looking for in here, so I want to be able to go up for full professor. So let's say this before I go, because the fact that I want to go up for full professor is really what drove me to kind of think through what are the ways that my research bullet journal works for me and what are the ways that they're not working for me. Now that I'm an administrator and I have different responsibilities during like a day-to-day in my position. And so this is my goal for being able to go up for full professor in 2020 in September. And so this is what I need to be able to accomplish and move these things through the process so that I can go up. So here's the deal. Because I kind of mapped this out, I really started thinking about, okay, what's working for me and what's not. So that's how I realized that I read when I'm on the treadmill. And if I don't work out, then I don't read. And so if I'm gonna keep these two things tied together, I also figured out that I've gained a lot of weight since I started this new administrative position, and I don't wanna keep it. It needs to go back where it came from. So get back on that treadmill, get that reading and workout pairing, because I actually love the way it makes me feel. It's a great way to start my day and it makes me happy. So I want to get, I'm getting back into that starting now, which also means writing that down. In one of my previous videos when I started this channel, I actually said that if you'd asked me before I started bullet journaling 3 years ago, I would have told you that I write everything the same way, whether I'm writing a conference paper, a book chapter, an essay, a digital project, everything gets written the same way, I have the exact same process. Lies. I do not have the exact same process. The process of how the writing happens is very, very different depending on who the audience is, what the data is, and what the outcome is. And I know that now, but I didn't know that before I started bullet journaling. One of the other things that I learned is that now that I go to campus 4 days a week and my day is pretty full when I get there, the way that I do the writing and the reading and the writing is also different. But I do manage to get it done and it fits in my day. I just need to be more explicit about writing it out so that I can keep track of it and make sure it's actually happening. And so it's not enough. I thought that it was, and I think I can show, yeah. You know, I had some research goals. I was starting to kind of just write them out. That still wasn't necessarily working for me either. I really needed to get back to what I was doing when I was teaching and doing teaching research and just a faculty position, get back to breaking it out and making sure that I'm making it part of my day and not just big goals that don't have like that aren't time bound, right, to a particular day, and really make sure that I kind of break it out. So that's what's happening now. So let's see how it goes. You guys look forward to the next video. We'll see. We'll keep processing it through and talking through how the research goes, all right? So this is it for now. Go ahead and hit that subscribe, notification bell, comments in the box if you have questions or things that you want me to cover in future videos. Go ahead and put those in the comments and I'll be happy to respond to your comments, okay? Thanks so much. Enjoy the bounty of your plans. See you next time. Bye.